Hey everybody, we're back. Mel Man here with KC and the Moonshine Band and Luke, the rebel without a clue. And we're talking about our mothers because Mother Day is coming up.
It'll be this weekend. What do we know about our moms? What do we remember?
I remember everything.
Everything? I don't remember everything. I remember a lot of stuff.
It just occurred to me there's a whole lot of songs about mom because we were singing them at the break.
Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys.
Yeah.
Or talk on the radio.
Uh-huh. Mama, I miss the days when you were here to guide me. That's an old Italian street song there. How about you, KC? You got one?
Got a mama song?
Yeah, Mama, he's lazy.
Oh,
that was a personal one. You knew that.
Sounds like me.
That was the one that they sang at Mel's wedding.
Yeah, but she said I do anyway.
You know, when I think about my mama was a single parent. I only had a dad from the age of 5 to the age of 10. You know, it was one of these deals where they were married, divorced, and remarried, and then they divorced again. Right. So between the ages of 5 and 10, I had a mama and dad. It wasn't a great situation. It was volatile. But the thing about my mama that I remember is that she took pride in knowing that she raised us. And I had an old brother and sister, and I had me and my younger brother. So she kind of like had two different families. And at one time she was destitute and had to fight hard to get her kids back because, you know, my older brother and sister, they were in an orphanage at one time because mama was, bad, in her relationship, and she had to fight to get it back. And then later on in years, when I was 10, another sad situation happened, and she had to fight again to get a family back. Wow. And the one thing I remember about my mom, she always says, you never went hungry. All those years, you never went hungry.
That's true. No matter what. We was poor and didn't even know it.
Yeah. Oh, we knew we was poor. My mom made $40 a week in 1965, and her rent was $40 a month. And she rented it was one of those Archie Bunker flats, if you remember our Archie Bunker show, yeah. Just like that. And I can remember hearing the Archie Bunker flushing the commode. I think, that reminds me of. And that thing was filled with roaches. And my mama, all the money I would save up, my money went to buy roach spray because I was battling the roaches in that place.
That's a heck of a thing to use.
You should have got Roach Hotels.
Or the Roach Motel.
It wasn't invented yet. But I think Black Flag, that was what I was spraying, I was constantly spraying those. That's what I remember about my mom.
Did your mama have any good recipes, Casey?
Oh, Lord.
She a good cook?
My mother was a great cook.
What were some of your favorite dishes she did?
Biscuits.
Ooh.
Gravy.
Son.
The
essentials.
Sweet potato pie.
Ooh.
Mm.
She also made the best pound cake you've ever had the opportunity to eat. And thankfully, she passed on the teaching my wife how to make a pound cake.
Amen to that.
And my wife can also make a great pound cake. And there's a lot to making a pound cake more than just following a recipe. You really got to know what you're doing. It's a very simple thing, but you got to know what you're doing.
You got to get it right. Wow.
But my mother was quite memorable to me.
I'm getting hungry.
My mother taught me a lot in life. I mean, we moved to Opelika, Florida, from Virginia, and I went to school down there. I didn't start school there. The school was already in session when we got there, and there was these kids that had like a little gang down there, and they told me that I had to bring in some money the next day.
Wow.
Or they was going to beat me up. Mm-hmm. And I went home and told my mother, I said, Mom, I got to have like $1.50 or whatever it was at the time. I said, these kids are going to beat me up. I got to have some extra money. She said, well, I'm not going to give it to you. I said, oh my gosh, Mom. I said, you going to let your little boy get beat up?
I heard that.
She said, if you'll stand up to him, they won't do anything. I said, that's easy for you to say. You're going to be here at the house.
That's what I'm talking about.
I went on to school the next day, and I remember a little boy come up there to me and said, did you bring the money in? I said, no. And I said, my mother wouldn't give me any extra money. Told me I'd have to stand up to the bullies. And he said, well, I'm going to stand up to them also. And
wow.
So came that time on the playground, and they approached me, and that kid was with me, and told me, I said, I don't have any money. I'm not going to bring any money, so you got to do what you want to do. And they all backed down, and that was the end of that. So I learned a pretty good lesson there about bullies.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then I learned later on in life that one day that my class had tried to raise some money, and they were trying to have a bake sale and wanted people to bring in stuff. And I said, well, I'll bring in brownies. I went home that afternoon and told my mother, I said, I need you to make me some brownies for school. And she said, well, I'm not going to make any brownies.
Oh, no.
But I'll teach you how to make some brownies. So I guess that's fair enough. So she taught me how to make the brownies, which was far more valuable than her just making them for me.
Oh, yes. Wow.
And so I kind of learned there that, learn how to do for yourself. Don't depend on. So I learned a lot. I mean, I could sit here all day and tell you stories about things like that. The same thing one time, I decided I wanted all my shirt starch to wear to school.
Oh,
It
boy.
was kind of like a style in my starch jeans. And I told her I wanted that. And she said, well, I'll show you how to do it. So she told me how to starch my clothes. And I had I ironed my own clothes to go to high school. She could have done it, but I'm sure she thought it was a valuable lesson for me, which I'm sure it was. I'm glad she did it.
That's right. A very smart mom. A caring mother to pass that on instead of doing it all for you.
Sometimes giving is not as important as showing somebody how to do something.
That's right. She's teaching you survival techniques there, because you're going to need a little bit of everything on your pathway of life as we get older.
How about some of the terms that your mother used? Like when you were going to get disciplined, that there was a particular term she'd say?
I think so. We've all heard that term.
My mother would say, I'm going to brain you.
Going to brain you.
or she'd say, you blithering idiot. I'm going to brain you.
Oh, dear. Mom would say, you just wait till your daddy gets home. But actually, she would discipline me and my siblings. She would take a belt or a fly swatter or whatever handy, and we'd do the T-Berry shuffle while she was whacking on us.
Yeah. My mother didn't cuss. But
Mine either.
There was one word that she would use, one term, and it usually came when she was washing the dishes and stacking them up in the drainer, and she'd stack them too high, and they'd come tumbling down, and I'd be sitting in there, and I'd hear her, "Damn it, the Sam Hill." That was her one curse sentence.
Wow.
That's the only thing I ever heard her say.
Well, we're down to about 30 seconds, but I think this subject of mothers should be ongoing, so we'll bring it back in the next segment. So y'all put your thinking caps on and do some remembering about your mamas and the good, the bad, the ugly. Of course, probably no ugly, but we'll carry on here in about 30 seconds. We're going to sign off, and we'll be back, and we'll not commiserate, we'll commemorate our mothers. We won't commiserate. All right, we'll see you in just a few.